Here's an example of a deceptively layered data sufficiency question. The prompt is thin, it's asking for A minus B. You don't know anything about these two values, and so you might look at fact 1 and fact 2 and try to zip through them. If you got this question wrong, you got sloppy or lazy, or you made a silly mistake. Let's talk about fact 1. It says A minus B squared is 49. Now, when you look at the original prompt, what you can say to yourself is, I need A and I need B, or I need what A minus B is as a group. And a lot of people see this and they say, oh, there's A minus B. The answer has to be 7. Could it be anything else? What else when squared equals 49? And if you just stop and think for a second, you'll say, oh, you know what? It could be -7 as well. Fact 1 has 2 potential solutions, not 1. So by definition, it's insufficient. And a lot of people make this mistake on test day. And for my money, I think it's one of the reasons why the average is always around a 540 or a 550. When you make lots of silly mistakes, the computer just slams you. And a lot of people make this mistake, which keeps the average rooted right where it is. Knock out A and D. Let's talk about fact 2. It says A plus B is equal to 11. Now looking at that, there's no information about A minus B. You could use test it to prove that it's 0 and 11 or 1 and 10. And in those situations, A minus B in this case would be -11. A minus B in this case would be -9. 2 different solutions means insufficient. So now we're going to combine. Even at the end, though, there's a perilous little hurdle here. Because A minus B could be 7 or -7, you have to consider how that affects the possible outcomes. Because A plus B is 11, and a lot of people would look at this and say, well, is that 2 variables, 2 unique equations? Notice how the first equation changes. It's either 7 or -7. That causes some real havoc, and I'll show you how. In this first scenario, you'd have 2A is equal to 18. So A would equal 9 and B would equal 2. The answer to the question, A minus B, would be 7. But in this situation over here, you'd have 2A equals 4. So A would be 2 and B would be 9. So in that case, A minus B is -7. You've got 2 different answers. And when you've got 2 different answers, that's insufficient. So your final answer is going to be E. Neither alone nor together can you get the correct answer. Be mindful of this. You are going to see probably one data sufficiency that looks this simple on test day. Put everything on the pad. Make sure that you're doing enough work to get the correct answer, because it would be a real shame to throw away this question. In a manner of a minute, maybe a minute 20, you can have these points and be sure that you're correct. It's one of the things that separates the 700 plus GMAT assassins from most of the standard, mid-level, average test takers. Business schools want people who can see the whole board. And if you want that big score, you got to be able to do this.